You know, typical of Autia Soweto, definitely had to start with Autia Soweto, you know. Nosna Rokakhe Tauta ko Alex.
I love the song.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's the song. It's the song. It's the meaning behind the song.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why are you a product of Mamutandazai?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Old lady, you know, Mama is a very prayerful woman.
Yeah.
And I think she then also transferred that prayerfulness to me. But I think I'm a product of an amazing.
So what
amazing
happened to
woman.
you being umfundis?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, right. That's what you say.
You know what? We fundisa in different places. Well, I think in the work that I do, I think we are activists in, you know, creating a new way of living and, you know, going out there ambitiously, putting our ideas audaciously out there.
Yes.
So we are ministering in different corners.
That's right.
Corners.
That's right.
You know, in my tavern.
Yes.
And lounges, in my kasi, and that's what we do, yeah.
I don't know if people have realized that short men have a way with words. Like audacious. Shotman syndrome, typical.
Nah, definitely. Nothing close to short. That's the first thing you said when I walked in. You say this, but man, on the picture you look short.
Yo, and then he walks in, I'm like, yo.
This guy's like us.
This guy's like a self. You don't need a bodyguard, my man.
No, definitely don't.
No. You walk in, they're like a chief.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you see, if I hit the chief level, then hey.
No, you're there already. Can I video call you without alerting you first?
Definitely not.
Why?
Yeah, I don't like video calls.
Why?
I don't know. It's just video calls. I find them to be so intrusive sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Video call. And people do it now, you know. WhatsApp video call. WhatsApp video call. And then the person's going to dictate what needs to happen on the video call, like, show me the background, show me who you with. No.
Can't do fish.
No. You know, I think the only way to live a successful life is to live a private life.
Oh, yeah. Or are they people who can video call you?
Yeah, like my sons. Definitely. Any day.
Yeah.
Because my sons insist.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you call me, Daddy, I need to see you.
Yes.
You know, show me now. So he's the only guy who can call me in the middle of a meeting and tell me, I've just sent you a voice note. Listen to it now, Daddy. Now.
Chesa.
Yeah.
How old is this guy?
So I've got two boys. The one is 6 years, 1 month. The other one is 1 year and 11 months and 3 weeks.
Oh.
He's turning 2 in the next week.
Okay.
Mzingisi and Luzuko, my boys. I love them.
All right.
Yeah.
No, congratulations,
Thank
man.
you, sir.
Nothing like seeing that, you know, there are things in this life that are more important than you.
No, I think that's the best gift.
Right?
That's the best gift. I used to think it was, you know, I don't know, entrepreneurship or the growth of my businesses. But I think when they came into my life, they humbled me.
Yeah.
They teach me constantly to be a better father because, I'm raised by a single mother.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think...
Yeah, because you don't have a formula, so to speak.
Yeah, there's no formula. Yeah. And I think, but for me, I remember when I was young growing up, consistently telling myself, the day I get an opportunity to be a dad, I won't put my kids through the pain that they felt when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. You know, the pain of crying yourself to sleep, the pain of growing up. And we're Tembisa, by the way. Yeah, 144. We do work all over. So we're talking.
No one to slay You're from the East like a wise man. Come on, man. If I had that poo on my show, I'll play right now. You know?
Yeah, I'm tired. Kaslam, Sakaya, food, home.
Go to Ngasama.
Ngase grounding, ngase khula sizwe.
Hey, my dad.
Balabala, yeah. You won't go wrong. We come from a generation of soccer players. That ball just skipped me.
I want you this Kosan.
Yeah.
I'm on Chris. You know what Chris is doing?
Yeah.
Listen. Shut up. Hey, man. 1632 in the house.
Yeah.
If you just tune in, this is Bulelani Balabala, the man who is known for getting things done. Everybody say you are the plug. They say you want to know where to get what, in which kasi, Bulelani is your guy.
Yeah, no.
Why? Where did this even begin? Or maybe let's start with your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that maybe then it will lead to why you became the plug.
Yeah, sure. My entrepreneurial journey started about 17, 18 years ago, actually.
Jeez.
At the time,
how old are you?
the time I think I was 16. And my highest grade is grade 9. So I remember I left high school. Old was, had moved me from high school. She was going to be running low on funds that year. She'd moved me from high school. From grade 9 after I passed, and she took me to FET College at Bulelani West. To try and see if I could specialize and then get some job. Vocational training. Yeah, I did the NCR training, which is introduction, did N1, N2, and then the money ran out. So I couldn't even specialize. And I think I spent about 2 years at home trying to figure out what is this thing that I can. But one thing I was clear, and I think the clarity came when my mother was out of frustration because she's the only one, out of frustration with you guys eat and you're spending all the money and I don't get paid enough. It was 2 of us. It's me and my older brother, Vuyo.
Yeah.
And I think out of that, I remember she had gotten me a job opportunity to go dig electrical trenches in Joburg. I remember going with a cousin of mine. We got onto a train. We went to Park Station, got to Park Station, looked at each other, chucked the CVs in the bin, went back home, and we told her, we'll see what they say.
Yeah.
We've applied. But I think there's always been that insatiable thing or that desire. I couldn't explain what yin.
Yeah.
But I think it then manifested itself, the year later. This was in 2005 late. A friend of mine had just come back from school, but there was something different. He came back from school in Tlaganipo with a t-shirt with his name on it.
Okay.
And I was like, a t-shirt with a name. So that fascinated me. And I probed. He referred me to the guy he went to school with who does this, and we chatted. And then out of that, I then decided, and I told a few friends, next year I'm going to do your matric jackets.
Oh!
In 2006, I was out there, got a deal. I think it was the first deal from Rosefield High School. And I remember when I got that deal, and I remember vividly, right? I remember wearing a pink shirt, formal trousers, a kick and boboza.
Yeah.
Because the previous year I was accompanying my cousin on Tabeling to a matric dance.
That's right. So you used the matric dance gear.
So I used the matric dance gear. I used the matric dance gear. I went in there. I pitched. I remember on the final, she says to me, and I remember telling her, our Cape Town, your company is done in Cape Town. We've got a hardware, manufacturing company. I've never ran a business in my life. And I remember this lady, Mrs. Ras, at the time was the deputy principal, saying, who do we make the check out to? Because it was 15,000, right? 15,750.
Yeah.
Now, this was 16 years ago. 16, 17 years ago. And she says, who do I make this check out to? I say, well, if you may write it out to my company, we're busy going through audits and there might be issues going to take long. But you can write the check out to me.
Mr. Balabala.
And mind you, I don't have a business bank account. All I have is a registered business. I don't even have a personal bank account.
Yeah.
So I remember walking from...
You are how old?
At the time, I think 17, 18. I remember walking from there all the way to West Street in Kempton Park.
Yeah.
I opened my first bank account, but the intention wasn't to open the bank account, it was to cash the check.
That's right.
Because what my brother used to do regularly, when he had some money, he'd write me a check, a 50 rand, I'd go with my ID and I'd cash the check.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I'd use the same formula. The consultant came, they called the bank manager, they're like, no, young man, do you know how much money this is?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we need to open an account. That was me opening my first account. We delivered on that order.
Which bank is this? Because that also, they deserve kudos.
No, Standard Bank.
Standard Bank.
No, Standard
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be. Oh, I love their slogan, man. I love their punchline because it's so positive.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you for having employees or customer interface agents who can see the dream before it can be realized, even 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah. That guy was able to help. The money cleared up. We delivered on that work. I made my first 800, gave my mother 500. I was left with 300. My mother thought I was selling drugs.
Donkey?
I don't know if she couldn't understand. But I think out of there, and I thought to myself, what could I potentially do? Well, I've made this 300. It's not a lot of money, but the next round, Emma metric jackets is in the next 12 months.
Sure.
Maybe I do something in the meantime. Then I thought an internet cafe, but I didn't have resources. But then I got, I could never identify with a term or slogan, and I don't know if other people mean it in a different way that says self-made, because I believe I'm community-made. So many people spent their money contributing into my life. I remember
it is self-made because you are the one who
drives it,
who motivates and inspires the community to help you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the community can only help you if you're moving, man.
No, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if it's in that respect, then definitely.
Yes.
But I think then for me, I then decided in 2007 I'm going to start an internet cafe to sort of have day-to-day money. That internet cafe didn't have internet. It didn't have anything cafe about it. I remember we waited 2 years from the biggest telecoms company in the country then.
Yes.
To get ADSL, because they didn't have an ADSL exchange in Tembisa at the time. So we had to wait about 24 months. And, I remember first day I opened up, I made 5 rand. Second day it was 3 rand. And for the next 6 to 7 years, I was making anything between 180 to about 380 rand a month. Ordinarily, most months on a 1,000 rand, 500 rand deficit, because you wanted to deliver the service.
Yeah.
And then I think out of that hunger, it was on the 7th year. I remember on the 7th year, it was in July, where I just wanted to just give up.
Yeah.
But something in me just said, you know what, dude, you've already come this far.
Yeah.
Why
give up now?
If you fail, just fail.
Yeah.
Let it be a disruptive failure or destructive failure, but go the whole way. And lo and behold, 4 months later, things started to change. Where, how, I don't even know. But I remember some of the interesting...
But 7 years is a long time.
That's it. You wake up...
You say it lightly now, but damn it, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yo, Bulelani.
I'm telling you. You just hanging in there. My mother was frustrated by patient enough. I'm running this from my mother's garage. A view at the time, my mother then got a house, a view. So I'm running this garage, a view, not even on the hospital view, phase 3, next to Tesha King.
Yes.
And close to ShopRite. Well, now ShopRite then you was Score.
Yes.
And it's not even on any main roads, it's central. Right? So I remember I'd have so many people walking up the street and you'd see them from afar. And you'd hope they're coming in, but I had more people coming in to ask me for directions and to, ask me for directions and to ask me for where the whereabouts.
I need your money,
area.
come on.
Coming in to actually
leave me a rent for my directions.
Get business in. And I think what changed things was in the 7th year. I think I started to ask myself, but why people coming here? There's about 7 or 8 internet cafes within a 5-kilometer radius. In that view, there was about 7 or 8. But why do people come here? And then I realized that, people are coming here intrinsically or they're seeking for an opportunity for me to help them get FaceTime with the employer, with the HR manager. But the only way you can do that is differentiated. And then I had to ask myself questions like, if 5 people in the same neighborhood or in the same Tembisa are applying for the same position that just opened up at Kaya, what is going to differentiate them if Kaya's received 1,000 CVs that look the same? So what we then started to do, we started to play with a template. We then created a template that would make a CV template that would make it easier for us to create CVs. But also it has a standout feature. So we had guys coming as far as, I think the furthest I had was coming from Rustenburg to come and type his CV in Tembisa and I think Hammanskraal.
Yeah.
Coming, I think there was a second furthest and people just around Alex, Davidson and the sort. Then it hit me that, if you solve for the problem beyond what you think the problem actually is, people will start gravitating.
You need to say that again. Ooh, that's powerful.
If you solve for the problem beyond what you think the problem is, then people start gravitating around you, because people are not coming to you for shoes. They're not coming to you for T-shirts. It's an emotional feel.
That's right.
It's a sentimental feel. It's something that makes them feel better, because at the end of the day, we are selfish individuals. So whatever we do in most cases is something that benefits us in one way or another. The benefit might not be money, but it's because I'm going to feel better. The benefit might be my spiritual upliftment, that I'll walk away and I'll give 100 million, but I'll feel better at night. So when you start to unpack and tap into stuff like that, then you start to become disruptive. Then the business started to, in drips and drabs, we started to now go into print. Remember the first matric jackets, all the other schools didn't want us. So I think that was my lucky break because my friends were in matric, so they could advocate for that.
Yeah.
So this is running the internet cafe. Only then I'm able to, after 8 years, I'm able to hire my first employee. From there, then we start to grow in drips and drabs. We start to buy machines, start to create employment, start to do work with multinational organizations, and we grow this organization in a 380 square meter office space in a hospital view. And we're doing disruptive work with machinery in the township. You know, we've done some super amazing work. But I think within that whole period, you know, being a township entrepreneur, you know, being frustrated, having my own frustrations, you know, I think about 8 years ago, you know, it was in 2015, I decided, I get invited to all these different workshops that are nice. You go there as an attendee. Sometimes you get to share your story, you speak and you share your journey and that stuff. It's always in nice places, but every time I'd attended one in the township, it was always shoddy. It was always, it's almost seemed like it was an afterthought. So the content and the people they brought were not the best. So I then decided, let's start T. So we started T in Tembisa, Rabasutu. TEA, Township Entrepreneurs Alliance. And then it was simple. All we wanted to do is to do two things. To create a platform where township entrepreneurs, Basekasi, that particular time, Etembisa. No, it wasn't Rabasutu, it was Mriting. We started it in Mriting. They could do two things. They could, number one, network. Number two, access information. Gather together.
That's right.
Access information.
And networking is power.
It. And I remember then we had our first two speakers. I hustled him, DJ Spoo, we came.
Okay.
And he's been coming consistently supporting. Alon Reyes of Reyes Corp has been doing the same as well. We had your guys like your Jabu Stone at the time supporting. He says, no, I'm going to push you. I love your thing. And then it grew, and then I think over the years we started to realize that, because it was a passion project. So I mean, for the first 5 years, and I think even now, I mean, you look at last year, I funded all the work that we did.
Sure.
For the first 5 years, I funded it through my company because it was passion work, right? And I think, over the past 8 years now, we've been able to directly impact over 60,000 township entrepreneurs nationwide. So we run these, one of the flagship programs that we run is the Gasi Business Workshops, and we run these in 14 townships over a 12-month period.
We'll unpack them one by one, because by the time you leave here, I want you to leave empty. You must leave it all here, man. This is Bulelani Balabala. They call him the plug. Get things done, he's known for, that hashtag. And then the other one is Join Us for T, right?
Join Us for T.
Join Us for T. Join Us for TEA, Township Entrepreneurs Alliance. I don't know what it is. I think this is a Zoe Mudicha week, because not so long ago, the other day, we played her other song, Utando. And here you are choosing Abantu.
Yeah.
She's currently at the North Sea Jazz Festival. Obviously, you can imagine what's happening there.
Yeah.
Woo!
Disruption. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Why her? I
mean, I love the song because it speaks to, I think a black person, because I resonate with that. I'm black.
Yeah.
But isn't Ozoji? And I think for me, that's how it was, because I never thought I'd be sitting here today talking to Grotman T Bose. Never ever in my life, right? Yeah. I never thought I would have served in the NDP, 2013, the presidency. I never thought I'd win the awards I've won. I never thought I'd live my life and create jobs for so many people, have my life situation. I mean, I come from the type of place where my brother would, I think when he's down with clothes, underwear, he'd leave them down to me.
Yes.
Where certain times me and my mother are eating kokosapap or sedlipap and nebisi.
That's right.
And there's no food. And I remember so many occasions where, and I think it then frustrated me, right? And I remember my mother has this hustler spirit.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knew she didn't have money in the account, but she'd walk into the grocery store, fill up the trolley, and then get there and then try and swipe the money and then keep trying to swipe and then keep trying to swipe. Then it was embarrassing, but lo and behold, did I know that is what was pouring into my hustler spirit. And she'd tabalaza and put things together. She'd leave at 4 a.m., come back late in the evening, and she'd always find a way of creating a protected environment, an environment where I was fed. And I think I carry that with me in the various spaces that I am in. So I think that song for me speaks to Isn't Zochiga. The situation might not seem like it now.
That's right.
But things are going to change.
It may take 7 years.
No, definitely.
But
and I think sometimes what happens is, we we find ourselves in situations that are bad, or they're tempestuous, or they're up and down, or and we don't think things will change. But when you're faithful in being consistent and in delivering value and delivering perfect work consistently, it will not be ignored. At the right time, you're going to get your money's worth. At the right time, people will start paying you for the value that you would have created over a bit of time. I think it's also us plugging out of this instant gratification, 2-minute noodle growth. It doesn't take that, I mean, someone says to me, it seems like you just did it, you've done so well. I mean, it's 16 years, 17 years in the making. I mean, I've went from, in this service, in these 15 years, I transported school kids with a friend of mine, Umakas. I hustled 1,500, got a transporting license. He had a kumbi, yagamulumake. We tried transporting cool kids. We did that for a year. It didn't work. I've sold stationery pack. I've sold enterprise. I'm palona, my cheese,
that's right.
Pack. Oh man!
From enterprise, just ngale olifant.
Ngale olifant. So landa ngale. We've done construction job. I remember then. I think on the 9th year. Oh, sorry. On the 8th year, I was able to gather money. I bought my first car, which was a Taz.
Yeah.
And I was using the same Taz to do piece jobs on my construction. Slicey tea nanga pagad Taz because we couldn't afford a van and all that stuff. And I think that's what you gotta do, right? So nothing is built up in an hour. Nothing is built up in 2 months.
You are accumulating a lot.
Over a dispensation of time. But also for me, I think it's that carefully curated consistency that says whether dark or blue, because one of the things I used to say when I woke up every day to open up my internet cafe is, it was crazy, but people are coming from the north, the south, the east and the west. They're flying in, they're cycling in, will be irresistible. People want to do business with us. So I mean, 15 or 16, 17 years later, when I sit and I look at the fact that we have different corporates now knocking on our door saying, we hear this township conversation, we now want to actually plug in and not having it a tick box exercise. One can't help but sit there and feel like, wow, this is what we worked hard for. These are the opportunities that we've worked hard for, because not to mention the thousands of individuals who plugged into procurement opportunities where they're getting business. And I think we've never asked them for money, not even one. Even now with the funds we've rolled out, we don't ask anyone for money. There's no one entrepreneur who can come to me and say that Bulelani plugged me into R1 million opportunity into a radio platform and we ask them for anything. Why? Because I feel like in my life as well, so many people have opened the door for me, and even when I failed to deliver the product and service, they were forgiving and they were open enough to mentor and school me and coach me so that I get it better. So because one of the biggest challenges is we always say small businesses don't deliver, and I think my rebuttal to big corporate has always been, show me a big corporate that delivers. Show me a big corporate that delivers consistently. There's none. There's always going to be a dwindling branch. There's always going to be a failing product. There's always going to be a failing sales agent. There's always going to, because we are human beings delivering on services.
That's right.
But what the approach that we need to take is approach that says we're going to support and develop ours. So anyone then who sits out there and then says the only time I'm going to support local businesses or township businesses is when I've got the right amount of money, there will never be a right amount of money. That's because we undermine the 5 rand or the 2 rand that we have.
That's right.
If we as township individuals or people that are operating, living and playing within that space started to understand the power of 2 rand, it started to be more deliberate. I'm going to direct it.
Take care of the pennies, the rands will take care of themselves.
Let's direct it. And I think for us, it's also moving away from the narrative that says we can't build our own billionaires, because why should we make T Bose a billionaire? It's important that we make T Bose a billionaire so that we've got an identity of what a billionaire that is homegrown looks like.
That's right.
We've made so many billionaires all around the globe and none of us have credited them, and anytime we want to have an audience with them, we are met with arrogance. But let's start to build our own so that we then make it tangible and we make it real that we can actually build our own billionaires.
I'm hanging out with Bulelani Balabala. This is The Plug. You want to work and plug into the local economy, local brands, local service providers, township-based. This is the man to talk to. We had the looting that happened. Not only that, before that, we also had lockdown. So a lot of small businesses right there, some of them, obviously, as you know, one of the biggest hurdles that they have is financial management.
Yeah.
You hardly plan for a rainy day because sometimes it's hand to mouth most of the time.
Yes.
So you say you created a fund.
Yeah.
What is this fund?
So when the looting happened, I mean, I think my view on things now is, You can complain, or you can create solutions for the things that you're complaining about.
That's right.
So when the looting happened, there was a lot of chit-chatter around, you must see, now they're going to chow the money. Now they're going to misappropriate the monies meant for small businesses, and they're going to chow them and the sort and whatever. And I thought, well, because we're in the space, let's put it out there to create a fund. But let's first gather details and data on businesses that got affected by the looting. Where we were going to get the funds, who was going to support us, who was going to back us, we didn't know. And, with the first round, lo and behold, we had Nedbank reaching out to us saying, we want to support township business. But I had terms and conditions. I said, if you're gonna support them, the criteria must make sense. Because we can't call it support if the criteria doesn't make sense, which is what happened with the first initial funds from government that were so-called meant to support businesses that are being affected by the looting, but never got to where they needed to go because of stringent things like criteria. So they were opening up to say, you know what, we trust you. Let's develop this criteria. Let's develop and create impact. And
what was the criteria?
No. So the criteria for us was, it was a township. So whether or not it was registered, that was not a big thing, because we found other ways of legitimizing that. So number one,
because the sole proprietor is not necessarily registered, but is operating.
Number one, that was a big disruption, because there's no way you'll find any corporate who will want to support businesses without having documentation. But I say, if there are other ways of solidifying who they are, then why not?
That's right.
And then over and above that, it was to solidify how long they've been running, if they actually have employees, because some of them didn't even have employee contracts. But there are other ways that we could do stuff like that to sort of unpack and validate what was actually lost. And I think out of that, it built so much impact for me in then saying, then we're doing it our way. Then we could sit and complain to say, 1 billion went out from fund X, Y, and Z, but it only went to people of a different race instead of going to the majority who are within the country. Or we could sit back and say, hey guys, we've got our own fund. Support us through this fund, and let's go out there and
how many businesses are on your database?
We've got about 60,000 township businesses.
When you say township business, are you talking Tembisa?
No. This is Seshehu.
Never the country.
The Sehu, Kaelicha, Kukuletu, Ntuzuma, Guamashu, Buchabelo, Fosloras.
All registered within this
80%,
database.
Yeah, 80%. So 82. What our recent stat is, 82% of them have got registered. So they're registered with CIPC, and then the balance are just informal traders.
That's right.
That are operating, but nationwide.
So as part of the looting funds, how much was raised and how much has been distributed? So
far we've been able to raise about 3 million. So far we've been able to raise about 3 million. We've already distributed or allocated about 2.6 million that has gone out. And we believe that, we could do more if we are trusted with more money. We've got a clearly audited trail.
Wait a minute. Lentwana le ingaqedanga isigele.
Actually 3.5 million, 3.5 million.
Lentwana le ingaqedanga isigele. Lebe rana internet cafe from a garage was able to talk to corporate SA and raise 3.5 million.
Yeah.
On his terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Criteria, that's what you say. And be able to give support to those who are affected by the looting.
Yeah.
By distributing 2.6 million of that amount.
Yeah.
You're a leparly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think for me, it's the people who believe in us, right? Nedbank for the first round, second round was Africa Tikkun, believing in us through their partners' monies. And I think we can only do more, when trusted with more. And I think that's been the thing for me to say, if we do the work that we do with less than 15 million a year, and we're able to reach so many entrepreneurs, how much more when you allocate actual funds? And you can audit us, you can survey us, you can have a committee, that oversight committee, but will deliver the value because the passion is there. There's nothing as beautiful as when we did work in some year, with FNB, and I'll mention this, right? It was in 2018-19, and also on our terms, and we said to them, all procurement will be local businesses. All procurement will be black-owned businesses within each and every township. And you know what we then did? We then took it a step further. So we then go into a township and find who sells the best food in this area, Emakone, plate or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they'd point and say, Mom's Banban. But Mom's Banban doesn't have registered papers.
That's right.
She's an informal trader. So what we then did, because we then need to then match up the compliance with the large corporate, right?
That's right.
So what we then did is we then found a business, a black-owned business that has got the compliance documents. We then matched them up with Mam Thandi, and then we then said that we'll utilize your documentation to supply Mam Thandi's food, to show Mam Thandi as an incentive to say, if you register, these are the opportunities that could be available. Whereas 90% of the funds then go to Mam Thandi and 10% go to the compliance company. That for me is, because if we keep complaining about they're not registered, they're not ready, they're not whatever, they'll never be, because it takes, if you just register a business in South Africa, you are liable for, you're liable for annual returns, you're liable for, paying your filing your SARS and getting an accountant to help you with that. You're liable so many costs before you even get money in. There's over 15,000 Rand a month.
Yep.
So there's no incentive that says to someone, let me register and maintain good compliance. But if we're able to open up opportunities for great compliance, for great business opportunities by dismantling whatever is already there. Because what I've always
removing the
for
obstacles.
Let us not, because what I always say to corporate, don't create a new need in your company. The need that you currently have, let us use your main supplier to take in 5 businesses who are in the same industry and give them 10% of that and let him mentor them through the journey. In 4 or 5 years, you already have a big, small supplier through these 5 guys. And no excuses.
It is Car 959. We're on the air, and right now we're on the streets with Bulelani.
Hola, my name is Bulelani Balabala. I'm the CEO of IAF Brands and the founder of T Township Entrepreneurs Alliance. You're listening to my Top 10 at 10. Kaya 959, on the street, on the air.
All right, he's still here, and as you can tell, time is running out. So, what is IAF?
So IAF is the mother body for everything. I mean, T as a product is under IAF. IAF is a printing and branding manufacturing company that has been based in the township since inception, and we do below the line marketing collateral. Below the line marketing collateral would be your gazebos. We print stitch your gazebos, your flags, your large format printing.
Okay.
And that's our specialist.
IAF for?
IAF, Intercessor Army Franchising.
What?
Intercessor Army. So I got the name for this company praying, right, years ago. So to be an intercessor means to stand in the gap. So I then thought, well.
No. Chris, you're sleeping now. You see now. I was supposed to have a poo there.
So I think for me the name just means
you're such a fool. So
I think for me the name means stand in the gap, with discipline, skill and precision while maintaining a global state of mind. So I just sort of came up with this name. And so for the first number of years, clients are like, it's an army. Are you guys an army supplies? You guys supply guns? No. Then you have to explain. And I think for us, that is what is driven. So now we do we're specialist primarily township specialist agency. So the print is a division, T is a division, but the focus is township. And one of the biggest things we do research and insights on the township. We do marketing activations in the township, and our clear focus as a company is small business, youth-owned business, and youth-owned initiatives in the township nationwide. We are able to drive those brand marketing campaigns.
There's no question that education should and is the foundation of everything.
Definitely.
Formal or informal.
Definitely.
The first thing you said when I asked you, you said you dropped out. But for some reason, you kept yourself sharpened. How?
So for me, and I think, and it's a great thing that you mentioned that, right? Because I always clarify that education.
That's me, man. I just like.
No, I love that.
I like pum. I punch.
Now, education is critical. I've done a lot of, and I think I need to quantify that. I've done a lot of further education and training, right?
Okay.
I've done a lot of programs. I listen to personal development podcasts, every single day, right? Monday to Friday, every single day. And I think I then learn, I've done, your ESD training courses. that I've got NQF levels in. I've done your small business venture creation courses that I'm a facilitator in.
So you kept
because you must remember one thing, and I think anyone who's listening to this, you start businesses according to the level of your education or the level of your exposure. But whether you have the one over the other, you need to know one thing, that you can always accumulate the other by exposing yourself and learning. And I think in a digital world such as the one that we live in now, there are so many tools that are available for you to learn. So majority of the things that I learn, I sit there with the client and be like, are you able to do 1, 2, 3? I'd say yes. And then the moment I get off, I then start to, before then there was no Google, there was Yahoo.
Yahoo, yes.
Then I'd go on Yahoo. Then there was Google. Then there's YouTube. Then you're searching and you're researching this thing. Then you're calling and asking guys. Then you can go back to the client confidently and say, actually, sir, you are wrong. This is how it's actually done. So you learn. So constant and consistent learning becomes the pinnacle to growth and maintaining growth, wealth, and success.
Uthini your late man?
She thinks I work too much.
Well, she's to blame for that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, man. I think my mother, my mother's proud. She's told me. She definitely thinks I work too much. I think at this point it's grown beyond me, because I think, the bug that's bit me is at some point I wanted to live and create a better life for my family. I did that. I'm at the point where I just want to create a better South Africa. I want to create impact. I think growing the way that I did has inspired me to, consistently, selflessly, and most of the time with our own funds, say we're going to go out there. So we constantly, and I think my disposition is simple, and I tell the team, as a successful black person who's done well in the industry, and they say no, it's not a problem, but build it so much that you become irresistible and they can't deny you. Because I remember years ago, I had a conversation with Spoo. So he called me. It's just he does this thing where he randomly calls me. DJ Spoo says, "Hey, Ntwana, unjani ukren?" I'm imitating his voice. And I remember saying, I'm so frustrated because we had this workshop and no one pays coming to tea. By the way, it's free. Right? No one pays at all. And I say to him, we invited so-and-so, Yamaz, Brayako, he didn't even come. And then his response was, yeah, but you're taking the wrong approach. Why are you kwatile? Because the reason why they didn't come is that you're not important enough to them. The moment you become important enough, then you become irresistible, then everyone will work with you. So what you need to then do is, take it with a pinch of salt, but it must be a 1% pinch of salt. The other 99%, focus on the growth and development of this movement, because make it so irresistible that they want to be there, that they will line up and say, you've created a platform for us to talk to our input. Exactly. So I think that's what we are striving for each and every day. And whether there's money coming in, whether they deny us or not, whether there's 2 rand or 5 rand or 6 rand or 1,000 rand or 1 million, we'll consistently continue to run them. Insatiably, we won't stop. Because I think for me, that's been my thing, And I've always said I don't have a plan B. There's only plan A. We're going to do this thing one way or another. It might not be at the grand scale, but we're going to do this thing, And I'm proud and I'm happy with, after a 2-year trying to hustle, we got another amazing corporate who's backing us, and we're back on the road for the next 14 townships, with Nedbank, Naspers Labs. And I think for us, that's the impact, with the city of Ekurhuleni has come in to say, whatever happens in Ekurhuleni, we'll support you guys. Mike Teke has come to say, no, Ntwana, here's a little something, here's something, do something and create whatever impact. So for us, that's the thing. And I think the biggest thing that I want to say to anyone out there, it's not a T thing. It's not Bulelani. There's so many people that are doing amazing things in various townships. Let's support them. KZN, let's support them. Because one of the main things that we do when we go into any township, because we come and go, we always say we plug into whatever is already there.
Yeah.
Let's plug in, let's empower those guys. Let them get the credibility and the recognition through us, but let them remain there as a fortified city to then grow that local economy and that local market. Because we can only create the impact that we want to see if we work together. The narrative that says that black people can't work together, black products or township products are inferior, or they are cheap, they don't meet standards.
Look at me, did you see what I'm wearing?
Definitely.
Did you see what I'm wearing?
Local products, yeah.
That's right, buy from Mami Lodi, man.
Local products.
Chapa.
And I think for me,
Don't touch me.
Yeah. That for me is the main thing that we then need to be consistently driving for.
Wow.
But what we need the people who are in the right positions in corporate to advocate for this in boardrooms and excos, because most of the individuals that I've met in excos, they don't know the township. They've never
It's
lived
not in a
there.
textbook.
They didn't even go in those spaces, but they're making decisions for those spaces. So what we need is more people advocating for the places that they come from to protect those spaces, because ordinarily what happens, T Bose, is that I leave a township because of my own mindset and setting, and I never look back. But when you sort of look at the social impact of the lockdown, the youth unemployment, COVID-19, it's going to grow to a point, if we don't work together, that no wall and sentence will be big enough or high enough or deep enough or long enough that will protect you from people that will jump over and disrupt you because they will be hungry. So let's start to work together, and the only people who can create a better South Africa and create jobs right now is small businesses. So we then need to move away from lip service and talking about helping them, talking about supporting them, and actually putting money on the table, putting programs on the table, putting procurement support on the table, and saying, come in, saknikeze opportunity, work and deliver the service.
Vaya, Anton.
Thank you, sir.
That's Bulelani for you right there.